Hello and welcome to An Old Man Watches, and today I'm going to be talking about Pixar's 2001 smash hit Monsters, Inc. And in a world inhabited by monsters, the city of Monstropolis harnesses the screams of human children as their energy source. At the Monsters Incorporated factory, skilled monsters employed as scarers venture into the human world to scare children and harvest their screams through doors that activate portals to the children's bedroom closets. This work is considered dangerous, as human children are believed to be highly toxic and capable of killing a monster through physical contact. Energy production is also declining because children are becoming less easily scared, threatening both the future of the company and potentially of Monstropolis itself. One evening after work, a high-ranking scarer named Sully, that's the big blue furry guy, discovers that an active door has been left operational after hours. Curious about why this would be, he inspects the door and accidentally lets a toddler girl into the factory. The human girl's entry into the monster world creates hysteria due to the belief of her innate toxicity. But Sully and his best friend Mike, that's the little green one, soon realise that she's not actually dangerous. Dubbing her Boo, they resolve to try and return her to her own world. But to do so, they'll have to find a way to outfox not just the authorities, who still believe Boo to be dangerous, but also a secret conspiracy among their own co-workers. After all, that door was left operational after hours for a reason. So Monsters Incorporated, or Monsters Inc., was Pixar's fourth animated feature film and their fourth massive success. It brought in over 4 times its own budget in box office receipts, and it has had a sequel, a spin-off TV show, and inevitably, it seems for Pixar, a toy franchise. You can still today buy Sully and Mike toys and all the rest of the gang. And look, I think it thoroughly deserves that success. It's not quite a flawless film, but it's a very good one. And I mean this both in the purely functional terms. It has Pixar's usual solid animation and excellent voice casting choices, but also in its artistic and thematic decision-making. So let's dig into what makes this film tick and what makes it work. And I think that one of the underlying factors in the movie's success is that it ties into common childhood fantasy. And I mean that in a couple of different ways. Now, Pixar had obviously already done this with the earlier Toy Story, with its premise of a kid's toys coming to life when he wasn't around. And according to the director of this film, Monsters, Inc. grew out of a deliberate attempt to tap into a childlike notion that was similar to that one. Since he had believed in monsters in his closet when he was a kid, that became the starting scenario for this film. And I think most of us probably had or knew someone who had similar fantasies or worries as kids. The monsters under the bed, that sort of thing. The floor is lava. Perhaps not quite specifically the same, but certainly in that kind of theme. Kids and adults alike then can immediately identify with the basic scenario. Now, in turning most of the monster cast into essentially decent people who just happen to look odd, Pixar take a lot of the potential stress out of the scenario. And the character designs also smartly contribute to this. Sully, Mike, and the other monsters are all oogie boogie monsters in their basic design, but they're mostly oogie boogie in a fairly cute and harmless way. I mean, they've got big smiley faces and they're giving you thumbs up here, so they're not going to be scary. But they're not, intrinsically terrifying designs, even if they are monstrous and inhuman. And I don't think it's much of a spoiler to tell you that the exceptions to that pattern of they're not really that scary are 100% intentional and a clever visual shorthand to silently tell the audience who the bad monsters are. Pixar have clearly thought very hard about the film's character designs and how they'll play with the younger members of the audience without becoming too cutesy and saccharine for the adults watching with them. It's very smart work. Now, I saw Monsters, Inc. when it first came out in theatres, and I enjoyed it, but I wasn't blown away. I thought, oh, that was good. A number of years later, when I picked up the DVD, I did so in a double feature with Cars, and it was mostly for the other film, which I have previously talked about on this channel. But I did eventually sit down to watch Monsters, Inc., and to my surprise, I actually enjoyed it more the second time around. Pixar are very good at packing their movies with wordplay, sight gags, and other little treats for the attentive viewer. And it's often on the rewatch, when you already know the basic plot points and can focus on the other details, that you really get to enjoy all those little moments. Monsters, Inc. certainly has plenty of them to offer, making it suitable for multiple viewings. And as I think any parent could tell you, a kid-friendly movie that still offers adults something to enjoy on the second or third or fourth or 29,000th watch is a valuable thing, because once your spawn finds something they like, they're going to watch it again and again and again. I don't have kids of my own. I do have nieces. I have witnessed this. But as I alluded to earlier, I don't think Monsters, Inc. is quite managed to be flawless. In particular, I think that the pacing is just a little bit off at times. There's a Nepal sequence 2/3 of the way through the film that to me felt a bit disconnected from the main plot. It felt a little bit like padding, or if I were a cynical man, and I am, I might be suspicious that a key factor including it is that they had a Yeti character design that they figured would sell a lot of toys. I'm sure it has. And I also think that the big action climax goes on just a little bit too long. It's a very good sequence. I do want to emphasize that, but I could easily have seen shaving off a minute or two to tighten it up and make it a smidgen less indulgent. Overall, though, I mean, these are minor quibbles. Monsters, Inc. is an expertly constructed animated family adventure movie, and it's well worth a watch, or even a couple of watches, which you may be condemned to if you have kids. So that's Monsters, Inc. Yeah, check it out. Next time, the 1973 indie horror film Don't Look in the Basement, also known as The Forgotten, which is the title that you'll find it on Wikipedia, though IMDb has it under the former title of Don't Look in the Basement. But that's next time. Until then, thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.